The approach that Goosmann Trust Law Counsel uses in its estate planning process with clients is very personalized, but we do have a three-step approach that we use with most of our clients. We have three different meetings set up, and what I'd be happy to do is to explain how each meeting works and the purpose of each meeting. The first meeting with our clients is called the initial consultation meeting, and the purpose of this is to really get to know more about the client. At this time they've completed a little bit of homework, they've done some planning worksheets and a form that we call the goal identification form, and we've reviewed that ahead of the meeting so that we really already know a little bit about the client. But then we sit down and it's really just an interview back and forth. It's the chance for the client to ask questions of us, more about estate planning and maybe some of the stereotypes or some of the questions that they've had going into the process. And it's a chance for Trust Law Counsel to ask questions of the clients, more about them, about their goals, their wishes, their family, their values. What do they truly want to have happen if something would happen to one or both of them. And so this is a 2-hour meeting where at the end of it we really have a handle on what we feel the client really, one, what their goal and wishes are and what they want to have happen, and two, we are starting to form that recommendation for the client. From the initial consultation meeting, we will schedule what we call the design meeting. This is the second meeting with the client. It's usually held about a week after the initial consultation meeting. And the purpose of the design meeting is Trust Law Counsel will come back and meet with the clients and say, this is what we heard your concerns are and what you want to have accomplished at the end in your estate plan, and here's our recommendation for how that will happen. And what we do is we visually walk through how, in most cases it's a trust, how their trust will work. And what we have learned is clients are usually a visual learner, and when we can show them visually how a trust flows or the distribution of it and what happens at each step when the first spouse might pass away and what happens, and then maybe when the second spouse passes away, makes much more sense to the client when they actually get to their legal documents. So the design meeting is really again a back and forth between Trust Law Counsel and the clients, visually showing them how our recommendation would work for them, and then we move into really talking more about what we call funding the trust. It's taking all of their financial assets and making sure those get put into the trust. So we deep dive into that to make sure funding the trust is just as important as establishing the trust. So when we really have that known and under control, then we can finalize, here's what your fixed fee would be for your estate plan. And then from there, we would move on to the next step. So after the design meeting and the client has signed the engagement agreement and we're moving forward, is Trust Law Counsel would be actually drafting all the documents. So this is where we're actually creating all the documents that the client is going to need and that we agreed to in their engagement agreement. That usually is 2 to 3 weeks depending on the complexity of it, and we have scheduled what we call the review and signing meeting. This is the third meeting that we meet with the clients. The review and signing meeting, the clients come in and we actually walk through the legal documents with them, and we reference the design from that second meeting. So this, remember when this was going to occur, here's where it states that in your trust. This is where it states your family. This is where you wanted this to occur. And so making that correlation between the visual document and the legal document just helps that client understand again how it's working for them, and they really do feel, I understand my estate plan and what's happening. So after we review, sometimes we make changes, sometimes not. We finalize the documents and we move right into the signing ceremony. It's an official ceremony where they sign their documents, and while those are being prepared, we walk through the client how we're going to wrap up all the funding in the next 60 days, and we also talk about next steps. What do you need to do with these documents? Who do you give copies to? Any wrap-up items that we feel the client needs to know as they walk away with their completed estate plan. Goosmann Trust Law Counsel looks forward to working with you. If anyone have any questions after watching this video, please feel free to call us at the law firm, and we would be happy to answer any questions or to go in more details about our process or the services that we offer. As we really do pride ourselves in making sure our clients get their personalized, comprehensive, and confidential estate or business succession plan.